Hi there. I'm doing a little short video on 5 things to consider if you have swollen legs, and I think that this is something that I think it's worth mentioning because recently I did a 13-hour drive up to Scotland, and when I arrived my legs were quite swollen, and I've spoken about this. They were swollen, and the only time I've ever had swollen legs before was when I've been on an aeroplane, when I've come off an aeroplane. The worst time was when I flew to Sri Lanka, and I got off the aeroplane and my legs were very swollen then. But so yeah, that was the only time I've ever had it, is due to flying. So it was like a big shock for me when I arrived in Scotland a couple of weeks ago after a 13-hour drive and found that I had swollen legs. And what I should have done, of course, was to move around, exercise, do all that sort of thing. And instead I sat down because I wanted to catch up with my loved ones. So yeah, I think it's worth mentioning because there's a lot of people that get swollen legs. They don't really know why. And I've been trying to uncover why this has happened. I've asked all sorts of different people. I've had a little look around and stuff like this, and nothing's really sort of resonated with me, as in, yeah, that's it. So I've had to go into myself and to ask what I feel is right and what it is that's caused it with me. But the 5 considerations that I feel that if you're relatively a healthy person and this is happening to you, then yeah, these are things that it could possibly be. And the first thing, and not just swelling on the legs, by the way, this is just swelling in general, yeah. The first thing is allergies. Now, years ago I had an injection for anti-tetanus, and I had a really bad reaction to it. My whole head swelled up. So much so that I couldn't actually look out of my eyes. This bit here was joined up to there. This bit here was joined up to there. It was really not good, and it was a reaction to this anti-tetanus injection. And probably shouldn't have taken the injection, but back then, I just didn't know any difference. So, you're told that, oh, it's a good idea to take this injection. You just go ahead and do it, which crazy, isn't it? Anyway, so one thing is allergic reactions. I've also seen this same thing happen with somebody who was allergic to peanuts. The same thing happened. His whole face swelled up. He did have some sort of like irritation as well on the skin, but he actually his whole head swelled immediately, like straight away. So swelling can be from an allergy. And that swelling can appear really anywhere. It could be anywhere. It can be in the mouth and in the legs. It can be anywhere. So, like if you've been stung by a bee, we all know that some people, their legs swell up and stuff like this. So, if depends where the sting is, of course. So, the next thing I want to mention is that I recently underwent radiotherapy. So it wasn't that many months ago that happened. Of course, this also probably plays a part with the swelling, because radiotherapy will damage your skin to a degree, and therefore it's more likely to swell because it cannot express its sweat in the same way it used to be able to, and your body can't cool itself in the same way it used to. I don't know if that's medical fact, but I'm telling you as a person that's experienced radiotherapy that since I've had it done, and I can't say it's because of the lymph clearance, because I had the lymph clearance done 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, and that hasn't given me any issues with swelling. It's only since I've had the radiotherapy, and that definitely has made it that I get really hot inside, like a bit like a microwave. So if I don't drink enough cold water, it doesn't have to be icy cold, doesn't even have to be really cold, but if I don't drink enough fluids consistently, then I get very, very hot. And when I get very hot, I swell. My body swells. So yeah, radiotherapy will make you swell, and not necessarily in just the areas where you had the radiotherapy. I have had swelling around my chest area, and I've had it under the armpit, and hello Boo Boo, and yeah, I have had it, and I know what it's from, radiotherapy. A third consideration as to why you might be getting swelling in your body, and this would be down to trauma. And if you've had any sort of like traumatic event happen, or any damage to any of the area, then you're going to get swelling. I mean, this one's quite straightforward. I think most people know instantly when something like that's happened, like, you know, you trip over and your leg swells up. It's quite obvious. So that one is probably less worth considering, because it's more obvious that you know where it's come from. But if you've had damage to your lymphatic system when you've fallen over in some way, in some strange manner, then yeah, that can be a bit ongoing for a while. And I think that that's something as well that you might not always be told, but it's worth considering. A fourth consideration is medication. And, or did I say medication? I think I said medication. Did I not? I'll say it again. A fourth one worth considering is medications, and also infections. Okay, so that's really two, but I'm going to put them both together because I am. So if you are on certain medications, you can get swelling. I don't know exactly which ones. But that makes sense, because you're putting something into your body might not be able to just assimilate it in the way that whoever's given it to you would hope that you might be able to. And the other thing, of course, is infections. So if you have an infection, your skin will be swollen, and you can't always tell that. You can't always tell if you have an infection or not. You might feel like you're a bit hot or something. If the infection's on the outside, it can be quite obvious, and it's easier to tell. But if you have a urinary tract infection or something like this, you're not always going to tell if there's swelling inside, and you don't just get infections there, you can get infections all over the place. So yes, that's something to consider. And the fifth one is a cut-off to your blood supply. Now, all of these things are things that I've come up with because I think it's worth considering. Now, I'm not saying that if you've got swelling anywhere that you need to start worrying and going, oh my gosh, is it anything, have I got an infection or anything like this? Because you need to check in with yourself and find out what's true for you and what you feel is right. Because if you're not getting answers from your doctors, and if you're doing all these tests, don't waste time going in and out of hospital. You want to be living life and enjoying yourself and having fun. You don't want to be going back and forth, wasting time worrying, because fear is not a good thing to be holding on to, and it's not a good thing to be exercising or practicing. So you need to flick that one away out of the equation. But what you can do to help if you have got swelling in your legs or anything else, and this is what I have found has worked for me, so hopefully it might work for you too, is to really increase your exercise. Really increase it. Spin classes, fantastic. Really get the lymphatic system moving, because you know it needs extra help. It needs extra help with the motor. The motor is not like how it should be, so it needs a kickstart. It needs like vroom, vroom, vroom. It needs extra help, and as well as that, cold water, so in and out of cold water. So I've been going in the sea, swimming, something that I love to do, swimming, but generally in warmer climates. But hey, it's pretty warm over here at the moment. You can tell because I've got a little bit too much sun the other day. But in and out of the sea, getting plenty of nice cold water all over your body, it will do you wonders. So exercise, swimming, and then drinking plenty of fluids, preferably fluids that don't have caffeine in them. Now, I don't drink coffee. I quit coffee a long time ago. I don't drink alcohol. You definitely don't want to drink alcohol if you've got any swelling. But I do like matcha green tea, and I do tend to drink quite a few matcha green teas, and I think it's actually very healthy. However, with the little amount of caffeine that's in them, if you are getting swelling, you might want to just hold off on it and just see if that makes a difference. So I cut down, and I don't know exactly what it is that's made the difference, whether it's just an accumulation of different things or whether it is just one thing in particular. Certainly my mindset's changed as well, because if you believe you can change it, you're more likely to be able to change it than if you worry about it, because worry is going to make it worse. It's going to make it a lot worse. So I don't worry about it. Just hope these little ways that you can practice. I mean, there's another thing. Putting your feet up obviously is gonna help if it's in your legs. But I think the most important thing, of course, is if you do have swelling somewhere like your head, obviously you've got to go to a doctor's. But I'm really mainly talking about swelling in the legs, and it's because it's been ongoing, on and off for me since I had that long car journey. And it's just I'm just trying to understand and make sense of why it's happened and how I can make it better. So thanks very much for watching, and I hope this has been helpful. Take care.